to our, all right, welcome to our November Power Hour, half hour, and we are going to talk about sponsoring today. We're going to really peel back a couple of things. I hope that the information will move you forward and that you'll feel a little bit more empowered to develop an identity that will allow people to know that they can do what it is that you're doing. And so it really does stem from that identity. We've talked about that a lot, but I think when we were together on October Madness, and I said, what is it that we do? And most people just said, health coach, I'm a health coach, I'm a transformational health coach. And really, if we're missional, right, truly missional in the way that we're stewarding this, you're stewarding Dr. A's mission, right? And I think it's worth mentioning that we're not stewarding our own mission. And I know that sometimes we can think that we are, where we're like, well, I know that, but I'm not going to bring that up, or I don't feel like my clients would like that. And what that really is, if we could just talk as adults, is we are really stewarding a different mission. Okay. So if we're stewarding Dr. A's mission, then our identity comes from that. And our speech is pouring out of that. And so our identity is, we are coaches, right? We're health coaches. But if we want to have a true identity that matches to the mission, then we would say, I help to certify and develop transformational health coaches. So when someone's like, Brad, and you guys are posting these interactive things like dark meat or white meat on your turkey, the really important stuff in life that people get fired up about, right? Don't they get fired up about it? And here you are posting someone who has had this insane before and after, and they're no longer diabetic, and you might get 2 likes. But if you put turkey, boy, they want to talk turkey with you. So Brad is now starting a conversation with someone who says dark meat all the way, or whatever. Now he can go off and just say, hey, brother, glad you like dark meat like I do. But seriously, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? You guys having family in, you traveling? And now it's like, yeah, funny, I don't like this or whatever, but yeah, we're hosting this year. Oh, awesome. And then if you know their family, maybe a little bit more. And, it can kind of go to a space where it usually goes to a space where if our identity is clear, meaning that person has been watching Brad and they're like, man, all these before and afters and recipes and like this like mindset stuff, and he might even say, hey, brother, like, are you still working, for the government? Because like, I see that you're doing all this like awesome health coaching stuff. I was watching some of your posts. And now Brad could say, I'm a health coach. Or he could say, yeah, I started with my own health, and here's what's going on with Wendy and I. It's incredible. But better than that, I'm training and certifying and developing health coaches. And it's just been insane, and I'm having a blast. And what do you do these days again for work? When we say start conversations, we're really meaning start conversations and don't be weird. we're not meaning like contrive this really awkward conversation. And I know that sponsoring isn't born out of necessarily the dark meat or white meat, right? It's born out of that comes a client, and then that client gets connected to the community, and then that connection to the community shows them who we really are, not who they think we are. And then that allows a 2-week celebration call. And then on that 2-week celebration call allows them to be awakened to the 2 ways that they can pay it forward. And we're not persuasive. We're just going to share the opportunity with all the love in the world, and we're going to get 3 answers. This is awesome, Brad, but it's not for me, brother. I don't even like people. So I'm just gonna refer everyone to you if you don't mind. And Brad's like, no, I don't mind, right? Thank you. That's awesome. I need frontline clients all the time. So he's not sad. Or he's going to say, this is awesome, but not yet. I love what's happening to me. And just to be honest with you, I just want to be a little selfish. And like, I am going to help people with this, but I'm not ready to do it today. But I thank you that I know that I can. And when I'm ready, it'll be great, but I'm not ready today. Or he's going to say to Brad, wow, I'm super glad that you brought this up. Because to be honest with you, I've been wanting to do it like from the beginning, and I was seeing stuff and chasing better, and like, we need this and I need this. And I already was going to give you like 3 referrals. So this is great. I'd love to get started. So when we say get good at sponsoring, I feel like people think we mean go get more people. And it's like, that's so ugly and funky. It makes us all feel weird because it's so out of the mission. It's like it's actually not what we do. Remember that we've said over and over, we're only looking for people that are looking for us. And that's true. And sometimes, just being honest, our human frailty can come in and we're like, I need another senior coach. Let me see what I can do, and we could like try to speed it up, right? But there is a very natural cadence to sponsoring. And it all starts with client acquisition. And it all starts with client support. And then it all starts with team coaching. And then it all starts with relationship and trust. And so I want to help us over the next coming weeks. We'll do this for all of November. I really want to help us to come into a space where we truly, truly understand sponsoring. I feel like it's possibly the most, I could be wrong, but it could be the most misunderstood part of our business, if I really am being honest. I've had people that are deathly afraid of it. And I'm wondering why, right? If I could just not be judgmental and just be an open, coachable learner, leader, and just say, what is it that's scary about it? And then you'll hear a lot of stuff from your team. If you could ask like, what is the resistance? You're going to hear some stuff that's really helpful. For those of you that are leading teams, some people are afraid to be a leader. They're afraid to be accountable. They just want to do them, and they don't want people to be responsible for. And so sponsoring could provoke that in them, where they're like, if I start to sponsor, you're saying I have to lead these other health coaches. And then that makes me a leader. And then I don't really feel like a leader. And so it's a little bit scary. And that's okay, right? So just step into that and really understand that resistance. Put in the chat, let's see, let's get a little bit interactive. Put in the chat, how many clients did you guys welcome into your organization in the month of September, if you can remember that? And then we'll go to October. Give me your best guess for September. I'm asking about your organization, not just you. Okay. So tell me, like, more or less. Got it. I need to look at the chat. So give me a minute. Today's going to be super interactive. So 42. Okay. 7. Good. 12. 7. Okay. So in your organization, how many? 36, Alan. Good. Okay. Now do me a favor and tell me how many coaches you brought on in September. And don't be afraid of judgment or like, oh, my number's too small or there was none. I don't care. We're going to do some math together. Okay. And we're going to have a current reality and we're going to figure some stuff out. Okay. So, so Brad says 1. So then do me a favor, like write your client number. So say your client number was 7 and then your coach number was like 1. Okay. So 7, 1, or like I'll use Alan. Alan said, hold on, 36 and 3, right? So you're like 36/3. So what you're dealing with here is this is going to be our starting point. You guys have heard, many of you had map calls with me, so this is going to be repetitive, but bear with me. You need to be able to teach it. So if you know it, you got to teach it. We have all heard like 1 out of 5, like 1 out of 5. You got 5 clients, you got coach, right? Maybe not. Is that really the question? Or is the question that every client was integrated, welcome to the community, connected to the community? They understand the importance of community, books, and transformation. They were given team coaching from the get, right? Remember, we talked about on October Madness. They're not your little client, right? They are a client on mission with us, and they deserve the same tools that you got. So bear with me. They're getting their kit. They're getting connected to the community. They're getting integrated and awakened to what's really going to work this time. And they are given a 2-week integration call. That 2-week integration call is not done by you, because you can't edify yourself and figure out, like Julie and I had an amazing one this week where someone just flat out threw a curveball with what they were eating. And she's been talking to her every day. She's connected. She's hyper connected. So it wasn't like she wasn't doing her job. It was just like, oh yeah, I just switched out a few keto bars for, no big deal. I just kind of got bored with my bars and I just threw some keto bars in there. And so we were like, okay, why did she tell me that and not her that? I don't know. But this is the beauty of the 2-week call, right? Not being you and being with your mentor. So we have this. And then I put in our thread yesterday, here's the 1 week, here's the 2 week. So we're not asking them to coach. Guys, we used to ask people to coach. And it was super awkward where we'd be like, hey, Brad, on your 2 week. So when are you going to coach with us, man? You're a coach without a kit. And we were like kind of slick and awkward. And we just kind of learned that there's a better way, right? There's like literally, that wasn't bad because our heart was in this place of like, you're behaving like a coach. And so we're going to call you a coach and we're going to invite you. Like, it was okay, but we got better. And now we know that they may or may not be a coach. We want to teach them how to refer. We want to teach them how to live out loud, and that we want to give them a non-threatening informational meeting where they know about coaching. Okay. So that's what's going to get you good at sponsoring. But I want you to look at your ratios and know that it may not be 1 out of 5, because listen, if we have 5 clients that we signed up in October and 4 of them will not read their books, they will not get on community calls, they will not even do their check-ins, can you say with all integrity that 1 out of 5 is going to coach with you that month? Or is that just something we're pulling out of the air because it sounds great, right? And I'm telling you, I am so excited because here's what I believe. I believe that all of us are doing a great job at sponsoring. I do. I think we're doing a great job for the most part. It doesn't mean we can't get better at 2 weeks. It doesn't mean we can't get better at integrating. It doesn't mean that we can't do a better job of our trilogy on our Facebook page, where we're really living out loud and talking about coaching and the gifts and things like Julie just put in the chat, like, what has it done for you? The truth. It doesn't mean we can't get better, but look at your ratios and know, like Alan, I'm going to use you for an example. I believe you have 1 out of 12. Okay. So 12, for every 12 clients, you and Amy are bringing a coach to the organization. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually. Okay. Can it be better? For sure. It could be better, but it really does depend on a lot of things that are sort of outside of you. Did they accept their invite to Chasing Better? No, they sat on it for 2 weeks. Yeah, there's variables, right? But today, where I want to anchor down with you guys is, what are the variables? And then how can we not be the variable? Okay, so I get the variables. They didn't accept their invite. They're not on social media. They took a week to start their process. They sat on the order for a week. Like, I get the variables and they're real and they're not your fault. But today I'm curious as to, if we have our side of the fence, what variables are we controlling that we can get better at together? So I want to like dialogue this a little bit with you guys. I threw a lot at you, Julie. I know if you want to come off mute, or anybody really, and just kind of digest this, because we're going to go somewhere else with it. And today I want to give you a lot of encouragement. Okay.
Yeah, we've been talking about this and about what causes someone to want to coach. And so you will have clients that come on who really, they're not going to integrate. They are going to diet. They're not healthy in their mind when they come into this. And if they can't get to that place where they're gaining a healthy mind, they don't see it as something that they want to share, honestly. So like my thought recently has been just that. What made you want to become a coach? Was it because you were dieting? No. You know what lit me on fire when I started coaching, like for real coaching? It's when I had a transformation in me, not just my body, but I grasped a hold of things that were changing my life and my family's life and the way I showed up for them. And I only experienced that in community with a coach and in my materials and learning and growing and becoming a leader myself, like just in my own life. That's what causes me to want to share it with other people. So yes, you could bring on 10 coaches, but if they don't want to share because they've had a radical transformation of one thing or another, they're not going to last very long. And they're not going to want to hit senior coach or ED or anything else. They're just going to kind of piddle with it because there's no passion behind it. And so that's where I'm struggling. Like, okay, how do I awaken people? How do I provide something that they want to be a part of? And I'm telling you, the client support, the calls I'm doing now, the questions we're doing, we're walking through their books together. That is the key, you guys. It is the key. If you are calling people and saying, hey, how's your weight this week? How did you do? That is not inspirational. They are not going to want to coach other people to that because it's not fulfilling. It's not a meeting they want to make. And so they know that coaching somebody else like that's not going to fill their cup. So why do it? Why sacrifice your time for something that's not going to have much reward? So that's what I've been kind of mulling over. Like, how can I provide that inspiration inside of them to want to share it with somebody else?
So good. So I guess we could even pare it down. Like we could pare it down. I want to give you a couple other things. My goal today is not to tell you what to think. I want to tell you how I'm thinking. And then if it resonates and you're like, this has me stirring and I'm really starting to think in more dynamic ways about my business, you're the CEO, then I'll be thrilled, because that means you're going to go back and really figure out like how you want to approach things and maybe where you need to shift, right? But check this out. So are you guys seeing a connection? Like if I were to look at Alan and Amy's business, and I were to say those 3 coaches that came on from your all's business, right, in the month, were they connected to the community? And I'm guessing you're going to say yes, but I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know if they were integrated, if they were connected to the community. I don't know if they were referring. And then like usually for me, guys, I'm starting to see the profile of a person on the Coach Explorer that says, let's go. They're having success on program. They're connected to our community. They are referring or have referred already. And we're trying to stop that, right? Where we're like, no more referrals. You got to come with me. So I'm starting to see the profile of the person that goes, yeah, this is good. Let's go. Right. So that we don't think that it's us or, oh, sponsoring's in the toilet. It's bad. It's like, is it? Because maybe we got to keep score off of integrated clients and say, like, almost track with me here. we have the universe of clients. Okay. And then out of that universe, we have this like sub-universe of clients that are actually doing our program. They're talking to you, they're integrated, they're in community. They're not perfect. They might have one piece of integration that's missing, even so what, but they're getting it, right? And out of that, what's our ratio? It's client to coach. Because that's what I see as the 911. I don't think it's just drag people to coaching when they're not ready. I think it's from here to here. And so when we say to you guys, you don't get good at sponsoring, it's because you don't. You get good at knowing the things that lend to it and anchoring yourself on those things where you're like, you know what lends to it? So with that, why don't you throw some things in the chat that you think lend to sponsoring? Just put one thing in there that you know, like, hey, this lends to sponsoring. This is not sponsoring, but it's a behavior that lends itself to a sponsoring possibility. If you guys could put some of that, I love it. Thomas, that's music to my ears, buddy, because when I thought about every Saturday, I was like, wait a minute, what did I just sign up for? Oh yeah, every single Saturday for 52 weeks, I'm going to be opening up my Zoom. That was a commitment. I was like, wow, I can't go anywhere at 9 o'clock on Saturdays, right? For indefinitely, like for how long, right? And what was awesome is look at the fruit that came out of that. And then look at how many leaders are coming alongside and taking it over to where I don't have to, because they're leading. You guys are leading the book challenge. You're being a part of it. It's beautiful. But sometimes as leaders, you got to start things that are a little bit messy and they might seem inconvenient, but then when they bear fruit, man, they bear fruit. So that's super exciting. Thank you. Oh, let me see. I scrolled way too far up. There we go. Okay. Involvement on Nourish, congratulating, becoming someone who the client wants to be around, loving them in a way that drives them to want to have more time with you. Absolutely. Being that true north leader in their life so they can see that they can do it. When someone is open-minded off the bat, yes. So John is realizing that, gosh, that's pretty awesome if you think about it. Because how about that health assessment? Let's just kind of chew on this one for a minute. The health assessment where they're like, is it keto? Well, how much is it? Well, what's the name of the program? Well, you know what? Oh, you're never going to coach with me, are you? Because you're already so closed and fixed that it's going to be so hard to get them to be open, coachable, curious learner. So that's interesting. You know, that's very interesting. And that's why when people say, my client has no time to read, but they're interested in the business opportunity, I kind of giggle. Because I'm thinking, if you don't have time to read, how are you going to get on Monday night calls and book challenges and like the whole thing, right? You're not going to start a business from that place. So those were all good things. Conversely, all good things. Dragging's painful. Authenticity. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Good one, Sherry. And then community. 911, guys. I can't get them into community fast enough when they buy their kit. It's like, I don't care about the food as much as I care about like how fast can I get them into community. That's my rush, is like, I know that will show them who we really are. Now put something in the chat that kills sponsoring. Just like the big red X. Like if you were to think of the Family Feud thing, like what is it? And it's okay if you've done it, because you would only know by doing it. That's why we're here. I'm gonna put one in the chat. You guys put something in the chat that just making it look hard. Hero coaching. Maybe don't go over their house and cook their lean and greens. I don't think they'll coach with you. They'll think they have to go cook food with everybody. Being a know-it-all, yeah, not saying, I don't know, I've never seen grapefruit noodles. Go ask that in Nourished. I don't eat those. People think they're going to coach, not Dr. A. Yeah, John Taylor and I talked about that today. There is a science to human transformation, and Dr. A's got the lockdown on it, and we just show up, right? Not living the journey yourself. Yes. Yes. It's so hard to sponsor when you feel like you're an imposter in life. So there's a lot of research that says that when you go to do something great, the very first chatterbox that's going to stop you is you're an imposter. That's anyone that does anything great has imposter syndrome. Okay. It's part of becoming great. So if you guys have had that, you're doing it. Like, it's good. I'm reading Matthew McConaughey's book, and he talks about imposter syndrome, and it's like incredible. So that's normal, but we don't need to add to it by, not being on our health journey, because that's just going to magnify it, right? And stop us. So awesome. Okay. Going back to, I didn't put my one thing in. I'm going to say the one thing that kills sponsoring: lack of team coaching. Literally the kiss of death to your sponsoring. If you're doing it all by yourself, it's all you, boo. There will be no coaches. And if they are, they're not going to stick around, because they need the team IQ. They need the personalities. They need all the things. And they need to know that they're never going to do it alone. Guys, that's our greatest fear. What if I don't know everything? What if I'm not ready? What if I haven't lost all my weight yet? Do you guys hear that? Or is it just me? That's why they're not coaching. And so then our answer is to be their one and only. And so then they're like, but I thought you said I'm never going to do anything alone, but I'm doing everything with just you. Like, this is not very convincing, So team coaching is, if without it, it's the big red Family Feud X. Like, it will kill your sponsoring game. Wow, that went by really quick. Let me give you a couple things to take with you. So figure out your ratios. Okay. So if you're like, I'm going to give you just some stats. So Tim and I, we work really hard on our soft skills and our hard skills. And we work hard on not omitting, team coaching and 2-week calls, the whole bit. And so for every 13, 14 clients that we add, we have a coach. So that's our ratio. John Paler and I figured out today that his is like 1 in 5, 1 in 6. So he's a stud right now. But as he adds more clients, that number will change. Okay. It will degrade. It's normal. But that's awesome. Like, that's incredible. The Nalty's doing really well. Reyes is doing well. Lots of you guys are doing well. The goal is, can you make it a little bit better for November? And can you do some of the things we talked about today? And we don't have to go from like 1 to 20 to 1 to 5. That's probably not going to happen, but just be looking at it and say, that's weird. I've been so focused. Here's what happens. We focus on client acquisition. And then we forget to schedule 2-week integration calls with our mentor. We forget to add them to Chasing Better. And it's okay. You guys are learning how to juggle all these things. And of course, when you're focused on client acquisition, you're probably going to drop the sponsoring ball. Okay. But that's why your team is there, to lovingly say, hey, you added 9 clients. I haven't had any 2-week calls on my calendar. Are you okay? And then it's going to be like, oh, I let that get away from me. And now I don't know how to clean it up because these guys are all on their 6th week. So what? Just make up a reason to get on the phone and just say, your 6-week call is coming up. And just get them on the call. Don't worry about it. Just get them on the call, because we got to love on them. We got to show them nobody's going to judge you. We've all messed it up. We're all learning. Nobody has this on lockdown. Fun story. I asked Jamil what his numbers are, and he's 1 out of 20. I asked the Bombas, it's bigger than that. So I think we're doing pretty darn good if we are getting integration calls. And then lately, here's what's a little scary for me, and my frontline coaches can attest to this and know that I'm not blowing smoke, is when we do your guys' 2 weeks, they almost always result in a Coach Explorer. I haven't heard a no, and I don't know when, because I'm not asking them to coach. Am I Michelle? Am I Julie? I'm asking them to consider how they want to pay it forward. There's two ways. I'm not going to tell them how. I'm just going to tell them how they can in each capacity. And they're going to choose not yet, no, thank you, or yeah, let's go. And I'm not going to persuade them to do anything, just like I didn't persuade them to do a plan. And I do remind them of that. Okay. Alan, you want to give us some input, and then we're going to wrap us up today and let you guys go practice some of this.
Yeah, sure. Just on the when we're scheduling integration calls and coach explorers. So for me, what we're tracking right now and what we're kind of monitoring in some of our teams is the effectiveness of setting this up at the front of everything. So we're sitting down, we're having a kickoff, and I'm letting them know, hey, we're going to be checking in this day, this day, this day, this day, this day. These check-ins, we're going to be covering this. At 2 weeks, this day, we're going to be getting you to, you're going to be introduced to a couple of our teammates, because we team coach like we talked about before. And then the following meeting, we're actually going to give you some information on how to share, because by then you're going to be experiencing some monumental changes and people are going to notice. So we want you to be able to be equipped and share that well, and then just leave it there. I mean, it's literally, it's not an option.
No.
If you're taking a yoga class at the YMCA, you don't get to tell them when you're coming for yoga. You know what I mean? Like, these people are hiring us to do a job, and our job is to show them the way and give them format. And it's not them telling us what they're eating or when they're going to talk to you. So
that's it. So you're coaching it. Because when the kids showed up, right, Julie, for cross country, we didn't ask them how many miles they wanted to run. We asked them what their goals were. And then we said, based on those goals, we're going to need to hit about 20 miles a week. And based on that, your time should drop by this. And so you're coaching it, and you're saying from the beginning that, and I love the way, I think, Julie, you put it this way, where you've said you did the self-directed thing, right? Alan, you could say, remind me again, my friend, how long you've been self-directed in your health. And they might say, my whole life, brother. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm 40, so 40. And you're like, I got it. Me too. But I haven't been self-directed for the last 2 years, and everything's changed. So we're going to go step you into community right away, because self-directed has failed you. And so community, I'm going to bring it to you every step of the way. Starting this week, actually, Monday, you have a call. What's your 5 o'clock on Monday, or your 8 o'clock on Monday? What's your 12 o'clock on Saturday? What's your calendar say? It now says this, brother, I love you, but we got to bring community. And now they're like, thank you, Jesus, that someone's coaching me, because I will go back to what's comfortable, right? So it's just exciting, because we get to lead them, not tell them what to do, but we need to lead them to a new outcome. And team coaching is part of that. Sherry? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I raised my hand, but anyway, I just wanted to just encourage everyone and say, you know what, we can do all the right things, but when a person is ready, they're ready. 2 years ago, when I said, yes, I made a decision. I did so because a ministry partner friend of mine, I saw his transformation, and I was at a desperate place. I had a holistic doctor up in Orange County spending a lot of money, and I didn't know anything about the program. He put me in the hands of Rachel, and he left for missions again. And I went into prayer, guys, just that simple. And Patrick had come home early that afternoon. And anyway, so the bottom line is that he said to me, honey, whatever you decide, it's your body. I'm going to support you. So I said, well, let me get that health coach on the line. Rachel was out of the country, so she didn't get back to me, because I learned later. But guys, I had spent close to $10,000 in almost 6 years with my doctor that wasn't giving me results. he had all the education, but the life book and the habit of health book I had at my fingertips. So day 5, but 2 years ago, we didn't have day 4, invite to Chasing Better. We didn't have Chasing Better then. Day 5, I text Rachel and said, hey, I want to coach. Guys, I didn't even know what coaching was. I experienced a miracle in my body. And because I felt brand new, I told her, I didn't even know what I was saying, honestly. I want to coach. So, you know, once you experience the miracle of Optavia, it's okay, what's next? What's next? Because I need to get other people in my community healthy. And that was my mindset. And guys, it hasn't changed. So that's all I have.
And you know what's funny, guys? This is, and we'll end on this. I know we got to run. What's funny is I had rules back then. I don't coach coaches that have been on program 5 days. She needs longer. Am I lying? Like, am I lying? I was like, no. We got to slow this down. Like, am I lying? Like, even you were like, what's wrong with you, lady? I'm trying to coach with you. Well, guess what? I had rules, you guys. I was in the thick of making decisions for other people. Okay. I was in the thick of my ego. I was in the thick of what I thought would work better for her. Okay. She needs to have more time on program. Like, so let's just keep it real. Like, you're going to make mistakes. Just talk about it and know that that's not where you have to stay. I hope this was helpful, you guys. Let's go operate out of a greater calling that doesn't have us being the limitation. If they're the limitation, that's okay. We'll work with that. But let not us be the limitation for them. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. We'll get this recording up probably after 4. Thank you, Sherry.
Mhm.